continuing my devotions in Exodus, and today I'm going to be looking at Exodus chapter 32, just the first two verses, 1 and 2. But to give you a little bit of context, Moses has been on the mountain with God for 40 nights, and it's the longest period of time that he has spent away from the people, and they are beginning to freak out. All right, so if you just kind of know that, let me jump right into the verse. It says, verse 1, "Now when the people saw that Moses delayed coming down from the mountain, the people gathered together to Aaron and said to him, 'Come, make us gods that shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him.'" You almost hear a little bit of disdain. As for this man, Moses, all right, which is crazy because Moses was the man. All right, so Moses delays and they are freaking out and they have a plan. They're like, "Hey, Aaron, why don't you do something for us? Okay, make us a God that can go before us." All right, because that's what God does. He goes before us. And it's so interesting because up until this point, it has always been God himself, the great I am, Yahweh, who has gone before them. He went before them when he led them out of Egypt. He went before them when they crossed the Red Sea. He went before them in the desert, a fire by night and a cloud by day. I mean, he always goes before them. And yet here, they're willing to trust a God that they can make with their own two hands to finish what the true God has started. Now, right there, like, this is not a good plan. All right? There is no substitute for the leading and the guidance of God. But this is what happens to people when they freak out, when they begin to worry and think, "Oh, this God's not working. Like, where is God? He's not making this happen." I mean, look throughout Scripture. You think about all the different times where God promises something and it doesn't happen within the timing that people think it should happen. So then they kind of like take care of it themselves. It never goes well. It never goes well. And it never goes well in our life either. All right. And so what's interesting, I think, is verse 2. It says this, "And Aaron said to them, 'Break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me.'" Okay, so the people get, because the children of Israel, I mean, they were complainers and murmurers and doubters and regretters. I mean, that's just who they were. All right. But Aaron, Aaron should know better. Aaron had times on the mountain with God and Moses. I mean, he saw the thunderings. He was close by when those major things were happening. And yet he's so quick to be like, "Hey, yeah, bring me the stuff and I'll make you something." And so what this reveals is the weakness of Aaron. Aaron might be a good number 2 guy, but Aaron is no leader because Aaron is more consumed with the opinion of man than he is with the opinion of God. Okay, and so he is swayed by the people. And we see this weakness not just played out here in this scenario, but you'll see it again later, the fruit of this. Because if this is happening in a leader, it's not just happening in one area of his life, it's happening in multiple areas of their life. And we know later on when Aaron has the issue with his 2 sons who come and bring an offering. Aaron was the priest, and his 2 sons come and they bring an offering, and it's a profane offering to God. Which means that Aaron, not only was he a weak leader with Israel, he was a weak leader in his own home. All right. And so character doesn't change. So we see Aaron, he resorts to this. He himself is so quick to answer the requests of the people. He himself must have feared. He himself must have doubted. And what does he do? When we fear, when we doubt, when we grow impatient, we set about to make our own provision, our own path, our own opportunity, an option. We like to have options. All right, okay, plan A is not working. Let's go to plan B. And yet we know that we are to make no provision for our flesh. When we decide to follow Jesus, when we say, "Hey, I'm going to go your way here," then not only am I going to go your way, I'm going to do it your way. I'm going to wait on your way. All right. But that's not what's happening here. He's like, "Okay, we've got to find a way out here." I remember when I was working at Pacific Christian back in 2020, I really believe that God was moving me out of the classroom. Like he's like, "Okay, I think this is done. And so you need to give your notice." And I was like, okay, Lord, that sounds great, but what do you want me to do next? And I waited on him for a really long time. And people would ask, like, they're like, so you're leaving here, so what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't actually know what I'm going to do. And I remember being in devotion one morning and I'm like, Lord, like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, hey, I want you to close this door. Close this door, and then I will open the next. But you see, that flies in the face of everything that brings comfort to us. We want lots of doors open. We want all the options. We want to see them all. We want to weigh them all. We want to have our pros and our cons. And God's like, no, no, no. I'm just telling you it's time to leave. Okay, close the door. And then trust that I'm going to open a door of opportunity that will far exceed what you can ever imagine or ask for. And that's what he does, guys. That's the God that he is. And so let me just end with this because it's going a little long today. Let me just end with this. When God's plan is delayed and the options aren't clear in your life, how do you react? How do you respond? And I want to encourage you, okay, because this is something that I have learned and more recently gone through the same situation again, but this time I knew better, okay? That when that happens, you need to seek God. When you're looking for direction, when you have opportunity before you and a decision needs to be made, seek the Lord. But then wait upon him. Wait upon him. And then when he opens the door, have the courage to walk through it. And if you'll do that, friend, if you'll do those things, if you'll seek him and wait upon him and then walk through it when he tells you, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. So God bless you.